Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
Those are fault for bringing their kids to battle. That's right. No battle. No battle. That's right. Those are fault for bringing their kids to battle. That's right.
Alright, so we're here today in the occupied zone, and I got my good buddy Brian Ricchetti, poet, artist, pizza maker. We're doing our special feature this month on Tent City in the occupied zone.
Yes, Tent City.
From about 2 years ago.
Well, what happened basically was they were trying to figure out information about Tent City so they could help the residents down there. So I talked to a local newspaper, and my brother actually got to shoot footage, pictures of what was going on. So I went down and I was shooting video and everything and interviewing people. And I got to talk to several interesting people who told me what Tent City was like. And oddly enough, I really didn't have a lot to eat that day. I was kind of hungry, and when down there they were cooking. And everybody always pictures the homeless as they have nothing, there's nothing going on, but this community was self-sufficient. They had food cooking, they had coffee going, they had a big fire going. The only thing they were missing that would be in most households would be internet, cable, and things like that. But what they did was they built a community within a city that does not like to have homeless people. And I think that's very ingenuitive, and there should be cities within cities. I mean, the only difference is a tax.
So, some people you were close to had some experience with Tent City.
Mm-hmm. My mother lived down there briefly before she got housing, before she passed in 2010. And in 2010 she passed away in pretty much housing that the government had given her and everything. And my older brother, he had stayed down there, but even prior, before this Tent City, when I first came to Nashville, there was a place under the Woodland Street Bridge, and a guy named Bear started it, ex-computer guy, gave up on computers and the whole corporate world and decided he was going to do his own thing. So he built an entire city up under Woodland Street Bridge, and it reminded me so much of the Woodland Street Bridge place because all these people wanted was a place to be safe, because homeless people don't have a safe place to go. I mean, you and I, or anybody out there with a home or a place to stay, should be happy, because at night when you get off work or whatever you do, you can go open your door, go inside. But where do they go? They have to go build an area. They have to go find areas where people aren't there, or the local businesses or such won't get on to them about being there. And in the 30s and stuff, there were several communities that were like off railroad tracks and things like that. Squatters' rights. And nowadays, they don't want that. They want your tax money. They want to know who you are and everything. And you can't just live. And people should be allowed to just live, especially with recession as it is. What happened was, when the flood happened, the only thing that could take away Tent City was a flood, which took away a lot of people's homes, and there was deaths in Nashville. So they did try to take away Tent City prior to that, but there was outrage in the community. People went downtown, talked to the mayor and everything, and it had been there at least 15 to 20 years. So how do you take away something that's helped people live for 20 years? You can't do that. So the rich lost that time, but it took Mother Nature to destroy it.
Mother was when she got off the street, was she hopeful about the situation, or?
Oh, she was very hopeful. She was at Mercury Courts. There's a little apartment there. But sadly, what happened there was one of the apartments, the water heater blew up. And my older brother was sleeping near the door. And it messed his hearing up for a good while. And what they were doing was basically giving people homes, making sure they had a place to stay. And this place was pretty safe and everything, except for the maintenance man wasn't so safe as far as what happened. And my brother, he survived and his hearing was okay and everything. But basically the Mercury Courts and things like that saved a lot of people, and we need more places like Mercury Courts because they have a place to go to. It's a keypad place where you've got to have a key to get in. You can't have a lot of overnight guests, and you can't get wasted and go cause problems and stuff. And so if they could give them a community and a place to be, they'll feel like better citizens, instead of saying you're homeless, you're nothing, And a lot of people on the street feel judged. I mean, you're holding a backpack, it's got all your stuff in it, you got a big beard, I'm surprised they don't try to arrest Santa Claus. Right. And basically, I think the mentality is not racism as much now, but it's more so how much money you got in your pocket now. And it shouldn't be that way because we're in a recession with everybody going half broke, so many people close to homelessness on a certain amount of paychecks, and we should all be sticking together to make sure we all have homes instead of going, or look at that guy, he don't have anything.
Okay, so Brian, I know you had a poem featured this month in The Contributor.
It's one of my favorite magazines because it supports the homeless. There are no other newspapers in Nashville that actually publish poems. You don't see the Tennessean going, we got poems in this issue, and they hardly even cover Poetry Month. I mean, they may put some big shot up there who's like, Vanderbilt University or something. But they never talk about the open micers and the people who are in the dugouts that are just working hard. But yeah, I got Universalist published, and it's basically, spiritual views. Because I got tired of everybody hollering, if you don't go to this church, you're going to hell. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. And I was like, God has no denomination. I mean, when did God become a Baptist? Or when did he become this or that? He isn't. We made up those terms to explain God and make ourselves feel better. So I feel like that I want to publish my spiritual views. I want to not necessarily be a martyr and die like Lennon or anybody, but just show people that if you got the gift of writing, if you got the gift of art, poetry, you need to get out there and share it in a positive way. I mean, I used to do shock poetry for years, but all I was doing shock poetry, and but I feel like find purpose for your writing. If you have to get out there and give sandwiches away just to feel good if you're not talented, at least you fed somebody,
Right. Okay, so before we cut to this footage, Brian, do you have any immediate plans for the future, or how can people contact you?
Oh, they can contact me at geistodem, GEISTODEM, at yahoo.com, and hopefully by then we'll have it flashed on the screen due to technology.
Right.
And basically, you can contact me about ideas or anything, or whatever you think about what I just said, and I'll address it and we'll talk about it. And I would love to hear from anybody out there that wants to help the community, because there's so many places of bragging on these people for not having anything, when you might be the next person out there to not have anything, and you might need second harvest.
You heard it from someone near and dear and close to people on the streets. So stay tuned for more in the occupied zone, and we're gonna cut to this footage, Tent City, from 2 years ago. before the Great Flood.
The following footage came from Tent City. Tent City was flooded in May of 2010. All of its inhabitants had been down there for about 10-15 years. And basically, the following footage you're seeing will never be again because Tent City is gone, and all those people are all over Nashville, homeless, living in small areas and wherever they can live. So when you watch this footage, remember, these people are people just like you. Their home was just on a riverside. Their homes were tents. Their homes were makeshift shacks. So this was Tent City. Anybody can be in this situation, so count your blessings. Brian Burchetti out.
That's a wrap.
Awesome. That's a wrap.
Hey, this is Nashville Video 1, and we're at Tent City, where it's been planned to get rid of everybody here at Tent City, and this has been around for 10 years. It's been home to many people. And what is your name?
Howard.
Howard?
And they had a big meeting today. There's a millionaire that wants to buy this property. He's made an offer to the State Department of Transportation, TDOT, who owns this property.
Right.
And they're looking at his offer seriously.
So when are they trying to get you guys out of here?
Right now we have until June 1st.
June 1st is a deadline. So anybody out there that can help people down here, June 1st.
One big need right now is firewood and candles. We have a church group that's bringing firewood. They're supposed to bring some more tomorrow. They're supposed to bring some tomorrow. See, they brought candles, firewood. That's one need.
Okay. How about housing? What is Tennessee trying to do for you guys as far as housing goes? Are they going to move you to Mercury Court?
Park Center working on getting people housing down here. But because of my past, I don't qualify for housing, and I really don't want to go into details on that.
Okay.
But I'm also got a campmate named John L.
Yeah.
He's trying to contact his daughter, Rachel Mankian, who's in Texas somewhere, we believe.
Okay.
He's a former songwriter. He wrote for Ben Weissman Productions. He wrote songs for Elvis. He wrote with Glenn Campbell. He's wrote for Pat Boone.
His name is John L.?
John L.
So basically, the guy that wrote for Elvis is homeless in our economy right now.
Right.
This really shows people need to start reaching out, quit buying your fancy stuff, and get a life. Because everybody's got to live. Anyway, what do you want to do when you get out of here? Are you trying to get a place?
Well, I'm
what are your
working on
goals?
trying to sell a couple of songs.
Okay.
I was able to get a demo to Brad Paisley, and recently I heard that he listens to the demo. He likes the song. I guess he likes the song. He listens to it in his truck in his home.
Brad Paisley, buy this man's song.
I don't know if he's if that's truth or not. I'm just trying to find out the information if it is true. If it is true, I'm willing to co-write with Brad if he sees this or whatever.
That's a good idea. I've been trying to be Paris Hilton's new BFF, but it's not working, and I don't know what's going on. So
Hard one.
Oh yeah, it is.
Getting a song to Brad Paisley is a lot easier than that.
Well, Brad Paisley lives in the Nashville vicinity.
Yeah. Actually, he has two houses. One in LA for his wife and him, and one here for him and his wife.
So is this your dog?
No.
This is a dog that adopted you, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Sosa.
And this dog likes dog food, so if you do decide to help out Tent City, save the pets too.
Camera!
Salsa, man.
Whoa.
So this person that's trying to buy this property, does he realize he's just going to be uprooting a lot of people that have been here for a decade?
No, because he's buying the property for us.
Oh, he's going to buy the property for you guys. That's wonderful.
He's going to buy the property. He's going to put in little pods. One of our friends has one up here already, James.
Right.
He's going to put those in and allow us to stay here.
That's awesome.
And the state is seriously looking at his proposal because The T-Dot manager was down here. The guy who's in charge of T-Dot
Right?
was down here having a big meeting with some city council members and some homeless commission members. If they allow the sale to go through, then he's going to keep this place for us.
That's
and
great.
the city won't be able to mess with it at all.
Well, I hope he does that. And if anybody does watch this YouTube, realize that you need to start reaching out, because if you're at home right now in your warm house watching this, this is what's keeping this room warm. These are the walls right here. So feel lucky if you got nails in your walls, because it's a real bad economy. Anyway, hey, thanks for everything. Is there anything else you want to say? We got a few more minutes or a few seconds more. Okay. Well, I think enough's been said, and I appreciate it. And hopefully that guy will buy this place. And what is his name again?
All I know is his name is Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones. Buy the property, give the people a home where they can stay.
Well, he's already made the offer. It's up to the state to accept the offer or deny the offer.
Oh, okay.
And they said they were seriously thinking about accepting his offer.
That's a great idea.
But it's now up to the governor.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, thank you a lot, and you have a great day.
You too.
All right. This is Nashville Video 1. This is John L., whom has written for Elvis and many other performers, and I'm going to let him tell a little bit about himself.
Yes, I worked under Ben Weissman Productions with Ben Weissman, and wrote for people like Presley and a bunch of other uptown stars for years. I was married for 34 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then my wife divorced me, and I lost everything I had. And now I'm in the process of coming back to music, everything else. I'm just looking for an opportunity to be able to critique my music in different studios, and maybe get someone to accept it and publish it and everything else, so I can get back on my feet and go back to living like a decent human being again.
Right.
It's been rough, but I never believe in laying down and giving up or dying. I believe in going on and taking a bad situation and turning it around and doing something with my life that's, progressive instead of retardation. A lot of people would give up and throw in the towel, but I believe just, turning over a new leaf and going on.
So what songs are you working on right now?
Well, I have 3 or 4 songs right now, country songs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in the process of trying to get them placed in studios. And if anyone is interested in country and western music and gospel music, then they can always call me at their numbers and everything else that we have.
We can post those numbers on this YouTube. So, how many times did you get to meet Elvis?
Well, see, I was around Elvis and Despacito and Red Sonny West, DJ Fontana, everything. In fact, Tony Brown, I found out, one of his guitar players is here in town, and he has his own production company.
Oh, you got any interesting stories about Elvis that most people wouldn't know? That would be kind of.
I don't tell tales out of school.
Well, what do you know that he would agree with? Maybe?
As far as I'm concerned, is Elvis was an all right guy.
Okay, cool.
I guess when it comes down to it, I'm a little like Lisa Marie. I just really don't want to talk about it.
I can understand that.
The man, as far as I'm concerned, was a great artist. He was a good friend, and that's why I just try to keep it that way.
That's great. Did you ever get to witness any of his times where he gave away the Cadillacs, or did some of his?
He used to give away a lot of things: rings, money.
Because I heard one instance where one of the guys wife had a baby. So he said to him, well, you're going to need 2 Cadillacs now because you've got a bigger family. And that really impressed me, that he would take time to give back to his people, an extra car for traveling and things like that.
So you have to go all the way back and everything else, because he spoiled people. I mean, whenever he was with Elvis and everything else, You never had to worry about, having money. You never had to worry about anything to eat, a place to live, nothing. You always taking good care of people.
It's amazing.
I guess I'm kind of like Lucy Marie. There's been enough bad publicity put out on him and everything else. And a lot of it lies. Until you know a person personally, you shouldn't, run off his mouth.
Exactly, that's how I believe it.
But see, I also run around with people like Smokey Robinson, Marvin Vandella, Supreme, Glenn Campbell, and a whole bunch of people. And I started a music career when I was 14 years old. I got away from home to get music.
So how did you start when you were 14? Were you just writing songs? And
No, I was sleeping between dumpsters in California behind Schwab's drugstore.
Okay.
And these two old geezers picked me up, started taking care of me, bought me some clothes, started introducing me to people. And one of them was Joey Savalas, and the other one was Jack Lincoln.
Okay.
They rented me all the upstairs home behind Brahma's Chinese Theater, which was the John Barrymore old home.
Oh.
Then he introduced me to Arthur Freed. Arthur Freed was president of Mr. Government. Arthur introduced me to his brother, which taught me piano.
Wow.
At the same time, Mike Kerr was taking piano. So that's how I met Mike Kerr back when he was 18 years old.
That's great.
So I went from that point, and I started writing, and started getting recognition, and run around with Glenn Campbell for a while, much others. And then I was introduced to Ben Weissman, and that's where I basically, I was just staff writer. In other words, we didn't get any recognition back then.
Right.
But the thing of it is, we still made, good money just writing as a producer. So now all that's changed. Well, now when you write a piece of material and everything else, you get the recognition and the notoriety of being a songwriter and everything else.
That's pretty good.
So this is why I'm gonna plug it again. I know that I can do it. I just know that I have to look for the breaks. Music business is a rat race. Same way with acting and actresses and everyone else. So nothing is done overnight. You're going to pay your dues, and at the same time, you're going to gain a lot of experience by going through the ropes to learn things. And like you were with Nashville, I've never done anything in Nashville. But now you take California and New York, some place like that, I've already done that. Now, I'm going to do it in Nashville.
Well, I hope you make it here and everything.
I'm like this. My hope is based on my ability to write. And I think I'm a good writer.
That's great. Well, it's been really good meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
And so it's John, John.
John L.
E.L.
E.L.
All right.
First Choice Music. And there's my phone number and everything else.
And what's that number again? 615-424-0850. So if you want some real music, contact this guy because he's played with the best. And thank you again from Nashville. Remember this face. Oh, another card too. 615-424-1760. Missouri Mule Music. Howard Pardee, songwriter. Check him out too. He's on the first YouTube. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to be here, and we're just trying to get the word out.
Anyway, this is the story about one of the songs I wrote. This would be like a prerequisite to the music, like a video. It shows three men coming off the range from a cattle drive.
Right.
Bringing all the cattle in for market. So they ride into town and everything else. They go to the local saloon, which was normal, and they come off the trail drive. So when they go through the Batwing doors, two of the guys goes to the bar. The other guy, he goes over and starts messing with the women.
Right.
And the guy tried to tell him, leave him alone. It's no good. But he wouldn't listen. So what he did, he turns around and he gets all involved with this girl. Then it shows them leaving, going back out to bring the rest of the cattle in the market.
Really useful here.
Then it shows, it's cut to another scene where they're coming back into town. They go in the same saloon. But this time, the girl is sitting in another cowboy's lap. She looks over the cowboy's shoulder, sticks her tongue out at him, and holding up his bankroll. She done took him for everything he had. So then the next thing you know, he's sitting over here at the table alone with a whiskey bottle and a big old raindrop tear rolling down his cheek. So then his two friends, they felt sorry for him. So they decided, well, we're singing this little song. So they came over and they told him, said, "A nickel's worth of love is not worth a dime. If that's all it's worth, you're wasting your time. Now don't forget what you forgot. A nickel's worth of love is not worth a lot. Friends tried to tell you and it made you mad. Now you're sitting all alone and feeling sad. But when a woman is cruel, she can drive you insane. That's the way they play the crazy love game. Or a nickel's worth of love is not worth a dime. If that's all it's worth, they'll leave every time. And don't forget what you forgot. A nickel's worth of love is not worth a lot." Well, let's see. That's enough of it.
Alright.
That'll give you an idea.
Alright, well, that's great, and hopefully somebody will see this on the YouTube. And is there any way they can contact you, like email or anything like that?
Yeah, I have an email that's also
on the card.
Alright.
This card I gave you.
I will put an email on the YouTube so everybody can contact everybody.
Yep.
And I appreciate everybody's time here today, and thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And
Nobody stays here. It's too dreary inside. Nobody plays here. We're all locked inside. Nobody stays here long because that sad song. From the outside, everything is fine. In a crowd, we're all smiles. Inside, the frowns have laid down lines. Nobody stays here long because that sad song. Nobody calls home. Nobody's calling. We're all alone. There's no voices, just sad cries. On the outside, no one looks in. On the outside, it's gray. They want to fade away. Nobody stays here long. We're all gone because that sad song made us cry and gave reason to say goodbye. I dream of a dimension that does not exist. I live it within its imaginary city boundary. The walls are tape on the floor with the illusion of height. The roof is the sky at night with stars glowing for me. This fantasy is an escape from war, hate, and poverty. Your reality should not exist. The innocent worldwide should not have to enlist in any activity that makes life cease. I disagree with the costly war where America has poor citizens sleeping in the cold. This game of let the poor eat cake is not cutting it. We refuse to believe the government has power over our lives. I dream of utopia and an eternal setting sun. I walk its imaginary lush green path. In between reality and the bounds of time, I find a world that exists for all of us. It's a place where summer, spring, and fall are one season. Has the trip begun? What is that shining light? I dream of night with shining stars. My journey goes far into a world of my own. It is a place worthy of immortality in a poem.